So here is a summary of the heart of business leadership principles for the next era of capitalism, and the book is written by former chairman and CEO of Buy with Caroline Lambert. Now the basic message that the book is trying to convey is that at the world level there is a global disengagement pandemic. According to a survey done by ADP Research Institute, only 16% of the people are fully engaged at work. And this is tragedy of unfulfilled personal potential and also the tragedy of unfulfilled economic potential. The reason being, when the people they are not engaged at work, they only dispense a fraction of their energy, creativity, brain power and emotions, and that leads them to not realize their potential, and for the same reasons they do not earn as much as they are capable of. So this leads to tragedy of unfulfilled personal potential and tragedy of unfulfilled economic potential. On the flip side, if you look at the engagement has got manifold advantages. Engagement enhances productivity and profitability. It positively impacts the bottom line and the stock prices. Engagement also leads to less turnover rates and reduces workplace injuries. But despite so many advantages that accrue from engagement, disengagement is rampant. And the reason why disengagement is pervasive and rampant is a lot about how we view the work. Traditionally, we view work as a core or as a means to an end, something you do so that you can do something else. We don't see work as a purpose or as something very important in itself. It is done so that you can pay the bills, so that you can go on holidays, so that you can retire. And this view leads to a very pessimistic view of work, and it is considered as a kind of a necessary evil. Economists and also the political observers, they have been observing that the work has been viewed as a kind of necessary evil since the Industrial Revolution. According to Adam Smith, the labor led to the torpor of the mind of the workman. Frederick Taylor observed that the workers who were doing repetitive tasks, they were unmotivated and disengaged. Karl Marx felt that when individuals are denied control over what they produce or how they produce it, they become alienated from their essential human nature. The disengagement is something that is still impacting the workers throughout the world, as the ADP Research Institute survey has shown. From the Industrial Revolution days to today's 21st century, disengagement is impacting all the workers. It has impacted baby boomers, it has impacted Generation G, it is impacting millennials. And disengagement is prevalent at all the levels of work. It's not the problem of only workers. About 25% of the people, or rather less than 25% of the people who are working in C-suite jobs are engaged at work. So many of the people who are working in higher echelons of corporate sector, they're not engaged at work. So this problem is pervasive across levels and generations. Now the book is asking people to treat work as a quest for meaning and try and find and try to find their purpose. The sociologists, they have a very positive view of work. They consider work as very important. Work helps people to build social connections, and that are important for happiness and fulfillment in life. According to psychologist Viktor Frankl, life is not a quest for power or pleasure, it's a quest for meaning, which ultimately is the path for happiness and fulfillment. And when you do work, that provides meaning, that should provide meaning. Treat work as an essential element of humanity, a key to search for meaning as individuals, and a way to find fulfillment in life. You can use techniques such as visiting childhood memories to find what energizes you. You can write your eulogy or find something at intersection of what you love, what you are good at, and what the world needs, and what you can get paid for. What really drives you, what you truly and profoundly aspire to, and what stands the test of the time is best approached as a work in progress. You cannot expect a single epiphanic moment whereby you come to realize what is your purpose, what really drives you. But you have to consider this as process, and the whole process is best approached as work in progress. Being able to connect with what we do every day with bigger sense of why we do helps us infuse with energy, drive, and direction. Now the book is prodding the businesses to give rest to Friedman doctrine and adopt stakeholder capitalism. According to Larry Fink, who is head of BlackRock, the largest asset manager in the world, their investment conviction is that the sustainability and climate integrated portfolios, they provide better risk-adjusted returns to investors. So BlackRock is advising the investors to invest in stocks that are adjusted for climate risks, that are built on the principle of sustainability. And there are various reasons for that. First reason is that profit is not a good measure of economic performance. The profit on the balance sheet doesn't tell us about the motivated employees, the most important resource of a company. The profit also does not tell us about the costs associated with harmful impacts on environment. And a singular focus on the profit encourages short-term mindset. People tend to, focus on reducing expenditures on training and development and focusing on short-term profits. And that leads to short-term mindsets, and many times this crosses limits and it becomes a case of malfeasance. For example, Enron scandal. If you look at the customers, the customers are resetting expectations. Customers, they want to purchase products and services of the companies which are acting in socially responsible ways. The employees, they want to work for companies which are acting in socially responsible way, which have adopted stakeholder capitalism, which are positively impacting the communities in which they are located. And not just customers and employees, even the shareholders, they expect companies to act in socially responsible way, because they understand that in the long term, the companies which are acting in socially responsible way are the companies which will generate long-term returns, higher returns, long-term higher returns. And also, the profit maximization is something that does not motivate employees. You don't find your employees to get out of bed in the morning and think about raising the share price. So, Friedman doctrine, the focus on maximizing the returns of the shareholder, or the focus on the share price, is something that cannot solve disengagement epidemic. So the businesses must consider adopting stakeholder capitalism. The book is recommending stakeholder capitalism based business models. According to Hubert Joly, who is author of the book, the purpose of the company shouldn't be to make money, but the purpose of the company should be to contribute to the common good and serve all the stakeholders. The corporations, they are not soulless entities, but are human organizations with people at their center working in support of a purpose. The book is recommending that the purpose of the company is not to make money. The purpose of the company has to be to make positive contribution to society. It has to have a noble purpose. Noble purpose means that company is going to make positive contribution to this world. And when that noble purpose is there, employees are automatically engaged, because that purpose motivates employees. And when employees are engaged, they work in a manner which delights customers. When the customers are delighted, the revenues and the profits are taken care of. In this model, the companies, they have to focus on building partnerships with their partners in a way that the nature of partnerships is such that both are benefited. Instead of trying to capture some set of profits or reduce margins of your suppliers, you have to approach the relationship in a manner which is about maximizing the benefits for both of the stakeholders, you and your vendors and suppliers. Plus, the businesses, they must focus on making positive contribution to the communities in which they are located. When this happens, when there is a novel purpose which is keeping employees motivated, which are producing services which are delighting customers, and when vendors or the partners are acting in unison with the company, and the both are in a partnership which is positively impacting both, and when the communities are being positively impacting, there are natural returns for the shareholders. So the book is recommending use people, business, finance approach. Focus on people first before you focus on finances. When you focus on people, when you keep people at the center of your organization, when the people are taken care of, they take care of your business, and that automatically takes care of finances. So the approach is simple, that you got to have a purpose which is noble purpose, which is about making positive contribution to the world, and you will have employees motivated towards that cause, and Those motivated employees will produce products and services which will delight customers, and you will have returns. Your finances will be taken care of. Many firms, Best Buy, Ralph Lauren, Timberland, Johnson & Johnson, they've used this approach to become what is called as firm of endearment. They have become firms of endearment, and they have achieved superior financial performance. They have outperformed the S&P 500 by 14 times over the period of last 15 years. The businesses, they can do good by making positive differences in people's lives and can be extremely successful for their shareholders. When you adopt this kind of approach, this approach expands horizons. The approach is ambitious and it provides lasting goal. For example, Best Buy has a goal that it aims at improving the quality of the life of people through technology. Now, this aim is ambitious. You can use technology to positively impact the life of people throughout the world. There is no upper limit to the number of people who can be impacted positively. And this is a lasting goal. In next 20-30 years, the technology will change, but this goal will be relevant. You can use the future technologies to improve the quality of the life of your customers. So the approach is providing an ambitious and lasting goal, and this approach inspires people. The reason being, people, they don't buy what you are doing. People buy why you are doing something. When you articulate purpose, noble purpose, keeping people at the center of your organization, people feel motivated, and this ensures economic activity is sustainable. Business Roundtable in 1997, Business Roundtable is a body of the chief executive officers of the biggest corporations of United States. It, in 1997, issued a statement that the purpose of the company has to be to serve its stakeholders. But a lot has changed in the last 2 decades, 23 years. And that humongous change in how the customers view the businesses, how the employee view the businesses, how the shareholders view the businesses, and how the business system and the ecosystem has changed, led Business Roundtable in August 2019 to issue a statement on the purpose of corporations. And the statement brought businesses to deliver value to their customers, invest in their employees, deal fairly and ethically with all the suppliers, supply communities, or rather support communities in which companies work, and of course generate long-term value for their stakeholders. So the Business Roundtable, which is the largest body of the chief executive officers of the biggest companies of United States of America, has realized that the interests of the businesses are best served when the businesses are taking care of all the shareholders. They are adopting shareholder capitalism. Now, when everybody is energized in the support of great cause and the strategy is sound, the result is extraordinary performance. You get irrational performance, top-notch, hard to imagine results. But to create that kind of human magic, you have to have engaged employees. And for making sure that your employees are engaged, you can use the following strategies. First strategy that you need to use is to connect the individual search for meaning with company's purpose. In the case of Best Buy, the company's purpose is to use technology to improve the quality of lives of people. Now, this vision, this aim is motivating for many of the salesmen who sell technology to the customers and feel that they are improving the quality of the life of their customers. Some HR managers inside Best Buy have natural purpose whereby their inner calling is to help people give their best so that maximum positives accrue to the society. Now these HR managers have got this inner calling, and this can be connected to the company's purpose of using technology to create positive impacts in the lives of people. So the underlying thing is, whatever are the motivations of your individual employees, you have to relate that with the company's purpose. Also, you have to develop authentic human connections. When people have got their best friends at the workplace, when people have got friend circle at the workplace, they are engaged. Then another strategy that you can use is to foster autonomy. When people are given freedom to decide how they want to do what they are required to do, they are more engaged. And also you can encourage mastery. When people are motivated by missions to become best versions of themselves, they feel engaged, they feel motivated. Plus, our growth environment, which is disseminating positive vibes, which is generating positive energy, which is prodding people to do positive contributions to the company's purpose, drives engagement. So you can use these strategies to drive engagement. But before you create that magic, you need another ingredient. And that ingredient is purposive leadership. Before we get into purposive leadership, let us first understand the basics about leadership. Leadership is something that we can choose. We can choose to be kind of the leader we want to be. Always be aware of what drives you and try to find opportunities that are purposeful, impactful, and joyful. Something that you find energizing, something that you find will create positive impact. As I have spotted that we get to decide the kind of leader we want to be, we also have to realize that the connotations of leadership have changed in last 2-3 decades. Now people, they prefer authenticity and connection over superheroism. According to Brené Brown, vulnerability on individual's part is what leads to connection. And that vulnerability can be important form of leadership. Now people do not expect superheroism, that's infallibility from the leaders. People connect with authenticity and vulnerability. Most of the attributes that are associated with the innate leadership, such as strategic thinking or eloquence, they can be learned. For example, Winston Churchill was quite a poor student and a poor leader in his education days, school days, and in his college days. But thereafter he worked and he gained those skills to become one of the best leaders in the world. So the skills that you need to become leader, you can learn those skills. And also people can change over time. Hubert Joly, when he was consultant at McKinsey in his initial phases of his career, he wanted to emerge as the smartest person in the room. Now he wants to create an environment in which everybody is empowered. He used to think that the purpose of the company is to generate profits for the shareholders. Now he thinks purpose of the company is to serve a noble purpose, to create positive contribution to the society. So people can change over time. So the 2 points emerge from this discussion. First is that we can choose the leadership, the kind of leader we want to be. And the connotations of leadership has changed in last 2 decades. We must become the leader we want to be. Try to think about the people you cherish. Mahatma Gandhi, what do you cherish in Mahatma Gandhi? Think about those qualities. Try to develop those qualities. What you find positive in Walt Disney. What inspires you about Walt Disney? Think about those qualities and imbibe those qualities, live those qualities. Then think about the legacy that you want to leave. Write your obituary or write your retirement speech. What are the ingredients you want to be included in those writings? You have to think about fructifying those speeches. But it's very vital for us as individuals to do daily self-reflection of our values. The reason being, we as human beings, we have tendencies to understand that there are certain values which we prefer, which we admire, but because of the circumstances, we many times do not live those values. For that, we can use social guardrails, we can use daily reflections, we can use social connections such as family, friends, colleagues to keep us stay on track. Now, I have pointed out that purposive leadership is what this book is trying to recommend to the leaders. And that leadership is essential to create irrational performance. The purposive leaders, they are clear about their purpose, they are clear about their noble purpose, and they are clear about purpose of the people around them, and they ensure that they are connecting the purpose of the people around them to the purpose, their purpose, and the purpose of the organization. You have to be very clear about your role as a leader. Leaders primarily have a positive role. If your actions inspire others to dream more, do more, learn more, become more, you are a leader. And leadership is a lot about service. You climb the echelons, you climb the ladder of industry by serving others, but you have to be clear about whom you are serving. Serve others and they will carry you to the top. The leaders, they have to be driven by values. They have to have certain values which give them sense of motivation and inspiration. Best Buy celebrates value days. to stress on the values that they want their employees to live, instead of having those values just on the manuals. They want their employees to be living those values. Plus, the leaders, they have to be authentic. When you are authentic in your interactions with your people, you inspire people around the common purpose. So when this engagement epidemic is taken care of by having noble purpose, which benefits the society as a whole, when people in the company, when the employees are motivated to create products and services that delight customers, when the partners and the vendors, they are in a partnership with the companies which are about symbiotic relationship, when the communities in which companies are located are taken care of, when the people are put at the purpose of organizations, when we have purposive leadership at the helm, we create irrational performance, provided our strategies are sound.